find peace.
Hey guys, what's going on? It is Dan Lags, and I'm back again. I got another Call of Duty video for you guys today, and I got some Infinite Warfare gameplay in the background. I'm actually going to be talking about Infinite Warfare today. So, pretty much since this game came out, you know, I have said some negative things about it on some videos in terms of things that have been wrong with the game, and there is just plenty of that on YouTube of people just pointing out every single thing about Infinite Warfare that isn't very good. So, today's video, I'm going to flip the script a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the things that I actually like about Infinite Warfare. So, you know, as you guys can see on the screen, I'm playing the game. I still actually played this game quite a bit. Just, you know, play solo. I still have fun with it. It's actually still pretty fun. So there's got to be some things about the game that are actually good if I still like to play it. So I have a little bit of a list here of things about Infinite Warfare that I think are actually really good things that should pretty much stay in future Call of Duties. So let's start off with the first thing, which is the health bar that you can see below a player's name in game. So if you get real close to a player in a match, you can actually see their name. Obviously, this has been like this in pretty much every Call of Duty. And actually below their name, though, in this game, you can see a health bar to see how much health they have. So I really like this. This is a feature that I don't think it's ever been in Call of Duty before, but you can basically see if someone's full health, mid health, close to death, once you're close up to them. So it's kind of good if you see like a couple of people, so you know who to shoot first, like who to challenge. You know, the guy with more health. You know, if there's a, let's say for example, there's a guy coming at you with full health, and there's a guy who isn't looking at you that has half health. You obviously want to shoot the guy who's coming at you with full health because he's much more of a threat to you. And then you can worry about the guy with less health later if he got shot by another teammate or something. So I like that feature. I think they should keep that in all the Call of Duties, just like a little health bar to show how much health that your opponent has under their name. Simple as that, but it's a nice feature. Next thing, which I think is probably my favorite thing about this game, is that there is no join session in progress. It doesn't just throw you into a match. So if I search for a team deathmatch and I get into a game that's already in progress, it'll actually keep me in the menu of the game, and it'll tell me right above the player list that the game has already started and the map is loading. So during this time, you can actually decide whether or not you're going to join into this game already in session or just back out and search for another lobby. And this is a great feature because, well, two reasons. One, you don't have to worry about just getting randomly thrown into a match and your team is getting absolutely shellacked, and there's nothing you can do. You're just getting kill streaks rained down on you and stuff. Like, this happens in pretty much every Call of Duty. I remember all the way back. Like, I'll spawn into a game on Modern Warfare 2, and there's an AC-130 literally landing right where I spawn. There's nothing I can do. So that happens all the time. That's been in every Call of Duty, and they finally came up with a solution for it. So, you know, you can basically go into the lobby and, you know, maybe you see a map that you like. So, you know, all right, I'm just going to join this game, even if it's a bad game to join into. I'm still going to join because I like this map. It just gives you an options. Like, for example, if I go into a game and I see, you know, like Scorch or Grounded, some of the maps I don't really like in the game, I'm obviously just going to back out of that lobby because I don't want to play those maps, so I don't have to get randomly thrown into them. It's a great feature. It's got to be in every Call of Duty from now on. Not really that many people talk about it, I feel like, and it's such a good feature. Next thing is Lost at Prevented. This has been in Black Ops 3. It was introduced in Black Ops 3 last year. It's still in this game as well. So you get your lost at prevented even if you join a game in progress like that you chose to go into. So there's really no way to get a loss in this game unless you just quit the game, you know, in progress. That's pretty much the only way to get a loss, or if you actually just lose the game straight up. So, you know, in past Call of Duties, you could get thrown into a game and, you know, that would count as a loss on your record. And that's not a thing anymore. So really nice. I love that feature. It's just a good way to do matchmaking, I think, personally. Next thing up is we're going to talk about the advanced movement a little bit. So a lot of people love boots on the ground. I love boots on the ground, obviously. I love both, honestly. I really do. The only movement I don't like is advanced warfare. That was just way too insane. But I like the Black Ops 3 Infinite Warfare movement. And honestly, I think the movement in Infinite Warfare is actually a step up from Black Ops 3 in terms of how smooth it runs. I think that the way your character maneuvers around the map, like the sliding, I guess the transition from sliding to boosting in the air, you know, how quick the sprint out times are and things like that. I think that's really smooth gameplay that I personally really enjoy, and it feels like your character is a lot less clunky in Infinite Warfare than pretty much any other COD ever before. Even Black Ops 3, I felt like if I went back and played a little bit of Black Ops 3 a little while ago, and you definitely notice that your character is a little bit slower and a little bit more clunky than Infinite Warfare. So it's pretty interesting. I think they really killed the movement in this game in terms of it being very smooth for a jetpack game. However, obviously, that doesn't mean that they should continue to do jetpacks in the future. I think just for a jetpack game, this game is pretty well done. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. But boots on the ground next year, 100%. I think it's already been confirmed, so there's really no point talking about that. And then my next thing that I like about this game is that the game is continuing to be worked on and improved. When this game came out, I was really I was on the dog on this game. Like this game, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what that means, but I was really disappointed in this game when it first came out, just because it was so incomplete. There was no combat record leaderboards. There was no you can't see your medals. There's no theater mode. There's still no theater mode, but I can get over that. There's just so many incomplete things about the game, and a lot of the weapons were unbalanced. But now they've actually patched the game pretty nicely. I feel like the weapons are pretty balanced right now. We'll get into that a little bit more later. And they added the combat record, they added the leaderboards. Even though it wasn't at the beginning of the game, at least they got to it. So all I can say about that is I'm not, defending the fact that the game was incomplete on launch, because that's unacceptable. But at least they, ended up completing the game, I guess, if that makes sense. So all the stuff in the game is added now, which is good. So at least they're working on the game. That's kind of the point I wanted to make with that one. Next thing is another thing I really like is the classic weapons. So usually in Call of Duties we have our ARs, SMGs, LMGs, snipers, and shotguns. So those 5 main categories, and then the secondary is the launchers and then the melee weapons or whatever. But in this game we have another category called classic weapons, where you took old weapons from past Call of Duty games, gave them a new name, and then put them in this game. So for example, the Spaz 12 in previous Call of Duties, it's been in Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, a bunch of CODs. It's actually back in this game. It's called the Sandy Ravage. Well, actually no, it's called the S Ravage, but it's a tribute to Sandy Ravage, which is a classic YouTuber who used to do a lot of awesome Spaz 12 gameplay. So that was really cool. They kind of did like a tribute to the community. I really like that. And then, you had the M1 in the game. The Intervention was back. The ARX from Ghosts and AW was back. So, and the UMP as well. Can't forget about that. So I just like how they added some classic weapons. And I would love to see them continue to add weapons. Honestly, if they released, more weapons. Now, I'm not going to say in the supply drops, because I don't want that. But if they were just to say, like, hey, we're giving you a $5 weapon. You can get a Galil or a FAMAS from previous Call of Duties in this game. I'd honestly probably pay for that $5. But if it's in the supply drops, I wouldn't, just because it's too much of a gamble for me personally. And plus, I don't really like supporting the supply drops anyway, just because I don't really like that system in general. I don't think anybody does. So, but I'm getting off track here. The point is, classic weapons, I really like that feature. I think they should add that in the rest of the, future Call of Duty. Just take classic weapons from the old games. It gives you a little bit of a nostalgia. And the weapons are actually usable in this game. Like, they're not super underpowered or anything like that. Like the OSA, which is the ARX, that gun's like insanely good. It's probably like a top 5 gun in the game. So they're definitely usable weapons, which I think is really cool. Next thing is the balancing of the game. I really don't see that many super overpowered things in this game, which is good. In past Call of Duties, you'll find things like that. Black Ops 3 is another game that did a great job of having like no overpowered stuff. But like, I go back to like Modern Warfare 2. In that game, there was some overpowered stuff. And pretty much everything was overpowered in Modern Warfare 2. If you go back to Black Ops 1, the FAMAS was really overpowered for a good portion of the game's life cycle. Black Ops 2, the LMGs were really overpowered. This game doesn't really have anything super overpowered. The only thing I would say is way too good is the Claw. But that thing's a specialist, and you don't have it all the time, so I really can't drag on it too much. It's really annoying getting killed by the Claw, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things where it doesn't happen super often, and it's not like someone's running around with it the entire game, like One Man Army Noob Tubes or something like that. So it's really not that bad, and I wouldn't consider it overpowered. It's definitely really good, but specialists are supposed to be good. That's the point of them. You're supposed to have a super weapon for like a couple of seconds, and that's kind of like a fun part of the game, which I thought was great in Black Ops 3, and I think it's pretty good in this game as well. And then my last thing that I want to talk about in terms of good things that IW did, I actually got quite a long list here. There's actually some pretty good things about this game, believe it or not. Last thing is probably the mission teams. I like the way that you can unlock weapon variants through just, doing active missions inside the game. So let's say, for example, get 6 double kills or something like that, or go on like a 10 kill streak, and you'll get XP towards your mission teams, which will ultimately lead towards new variants, which is cool because everybody has a chance to get those variants, unlike the supply drop ones, which I think is the only way variants should be in the game, through the mission teams. But that's just not going to happen, just because You know, Activision has to make their, you know, billions of dollars off microtransactions every year. There's nothing we can do about that. So I love the mission teams, though. I think that's a cool feature. I think they should consider adding that in future Call of Duty. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Infinite Warfare actually has some decent stuff in the game. You know, the game's not perfect by no means. I'm not going to say it's like this 10 out of 10 game. There's definitely still problems with it, but it's got some things that, you know, actually are decent that could be returning for, you know, future Call of Duties. At least I hope they would. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see more Call of Duty videos, leave a comment, leave a like maybe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.